The Twitter, Apple, Google showdown continues, and today we see how Twitter continues to move towards free speech, and Apple, not so much. They remain in the back pocket of the Communist Party of China. Let's first start with the fact that Elon Musk is saying that Apple has threatened to yank his app, Twitter, from the Apple Store. Now, I actually think this is a move by Elon just to kind of throw some shade at Apple as part of maybe a negotiation tactic between Twitter and Apple, because both Apple and Google make money when people download the app and then sign up for what will eventually be probably a pretty popular service, which is the blue check mark, right? That's $8 per month. Pay $8. That means when people do that via the Apple Store or the Google Android Store, those two companies get a revenue share, which in the first year for Apple is like 30% of that $8, and then thereafter it's 15%. Google starts at 15%. So they stand to make pretty good change out of people downloading the app or upgrading the app and paying that $8. Musk has mentioned in the past that they think that's kind of like a highway robbery situation, so to speak. And I think his accusation against Apple is just a way to kind of negotiate a better deal for the revenue share through the Apple Store. Probably they're going to do the same thing with the Google Store. We'll see. But that's just the beginning of this battle between Twitter and Apple and Google. But don't you worry. Google, as well as Apple, I'm going to talk more about Apple later in this video. Google is absolutely positively working to, how shall I say this? Content monitor, right? That's the phrase. That's the euphemism. Censor your content. They have today announced a $13 million grant, which actually isn't that much and is probably going to be more coming, to the International Fact-Checking Network as part of which is part of the Poynter Institute, which is a far-left media fact-checking organization, PolitiFact. They're giving money to the far left so that the far left can do the content moderation. It's only $13 million, which isn't really a lot. And I do think they'll double down on this in the future so that they can fact check in 135 different organizations across 65 countries and 80 languages. Wasn't that special? And in other words, Google, don't worry, they're manning the barricades so nothing gets said that you shouldn't say. Like, for instance, the vaccine. Oh, I wouldn't actually say this because I don't want to get banned, but the vaccine, you fill in the blank, right? Don't say it. Don't say it. Meanwhile, thank you, Zero Hedge, Tyler Durden. He has a really funny line in this. Twitter stops enforcing COVID-19 misinformation policy. Oh, is that so? Google's doubling down. Twitter's loosening up, in part because, of course, Musk laid off like the whole content or almost all of it. Twitter will no longer enforce the COVID-19 misinformation policy, under which users who deviated from the prevailing established narratives frequently had their accounts locked or suspended. The long-standing policy, way to go, Tyler Durden, great sentence here, did not apply to misinformation from government officials who regularly lied about such things as transmission, masks, vaccine efficacy, side effects, or other science, which turned out to be patently false. No, that doesn't apply. They can say whatever they want. Effective November 23rd, Twitter is no longer enforcing the policy, reads the note. As the global community faces COVID-19 together, Twitter is helping people find reliable information, connect with others, and follow what's happening in real time. Allow people in the marketplace of ideas to find out stuff on their own. Shocker! We can't let that happen. which is exactly how Apple thinks about it. We can't let our Apple users communicate. It's also Tyler Durden, but through Paul Joseph Watson, who, if you don't watch on YouTube, uh, why do you even have a YouTube account? You should definitely watch Paul Joseph Watson on YouTube via Summit News. Uh, Apple turned off protest communication tool right before lockdown in China. As it mulls kicking Elon Musk's Twitter app off the App Store, it has now been revealed that Apple restricted the use of AirDrop in China, a move that harmed the organizational efforts of demonstrators protesting against the lockdowns. Here's the money quote. Earlier this month, Apple restricted the use of AirDrop in China, which protesters had been using to evade censorship. AirDrop allows local connections between devices, meaning it cannot be monitored or censored by local authorities. Well, that sounds like a pretty good thing if you're protesting a communist dictatorship. However, Apple launched an update to the app in China that restricted usage to 10 minutes, making it harder slash impossible, almost impossible, for protesters to communicate with other activists, because the government doesn't want that, as well as send messages to nearby bystanders and tourists, like move left because the communist guards are coming from the left, coming from the right. To organize a protest, crack down on their communications tool. AirDrop was being used by protesters in Hong Kong. You remember that in 2019, who were brutally suppressed by the CCP during the months of unrest in 2019. The company chose to roll out the new feature in China only right as the country experienced its biggest demonstration in decades, which some would suggest is just a teeny bit more than a coincidence. Thank you, Paul Joseph Watson and Reclaim the Net for many of the sources in this story. I was thinking, why would Apple do this? Why would Apple, who has a brand of openness and discovery and creativity and freedom, that's kind of the brand of Apple, right? Why would they do this? Why would they actually side with the brutal dictatorship of China? Oh, they make their phones there. Hey, and by the way, don't always think that Elon Musk is the pillar of all virtue. Remember, he makes Teslas there or gets a lot of their supplies from China. Right, there's a lot of cross current here, NBA. So just, while you're praising Elon Musk now, just keep in mind, he is not totally pure here with a lot of the things that he does. So just, keep that in mind, although I'm happy with what he's doing at Twitter. iPhone Pro delivery wait times surge as China factory in chaos. Oh, you see, Apple doesn't want the protest because they want these Chinese people to go back to work and basically slave away, making iPhone 14 Pros. Counterpoint research report on delivery times shows the iPhone 14 Pro models are taking longer than ever to arrive in customer hands because of zero COVID disruptions in China at a key manufacturing plant. Customer buying Apple's most premium devices in the US this year, which is probably also their most profitable, I'm just guessing, can expect to wait as long as 37 days, said Counterpoint Research. Do you know how long I waited for my Ford Bronco? Which monitors delivery times. It was a lot more than that. That's far higher, made in Detroit, my Bronco. That's far higher than the predecessor iPhone 13 Pro family, longer than initial launch of current generation. Delivery days are increasingly going up. As you see from this chart, right? You get the COVID outbreak here, and then boom, that black line goes straight up. Well, from what used to be about 12 days or so, and now it's up at 37 days. That has got to be hurting Apple financially. We'll continue to monitor the situation from Plymouth, America's hometown, Massachusetts, behind enemy lines. I'm John F. Gately. You can call me Jack. Oh, by the way, did you see my new sign over there? There it is right there. Mandatory mask zone at all times. I found this still on the fence in downtown Plymouth. So I went back and liberated it just a week or two ago. And I'm putting up there so nobody forgets that they actually wanted us to wear a mask outside at all times. I'm going to keep that there as a reminder. All right. Hey, have a great day. See you next time.